You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Have an interesting question from Alice. Alice writes, "Hey, you greedy McBastard. I will give you money to go on YouTube and regale us with 3 stories of Schadenfreude. Describe 3 instances in your life where you relished watching bad things happen to bad people. Name your price, you shekel-grubbing quarter breed." And I did give Alice a discount on the price because she got some good. That's good. If you could get some ribbon in on the old Capmeister here, I'll give you a little bit of a discount. I'm no longer a McBastard. I'm fucking Scandinavian socialist pussy is what I am. But not at heart. All right, so I had to go through and think about this, and there's a lot because, I mean, heck, you think about school alone, college or high school, all these know-it-alls that thought they knew what they were talking about, and they were the best at this fabricated environment that had nothing to do with the real world. And to see them flail and flounder when these arrogant, cocky assholes actually got into the real world and got their asses handed to them. There's a lot to choose from, but let us go with the top 3, starting with the third highest, third best. You guys know the book Boris the Shitting Buffalo. If you don't, it is a spoof book I wrote many years ago. This is like when the old captain was still nice, still had some nice left and just hadn't beat of it yet. It's gone now. But there was this gal, and she was from Russia. I met her salsa dancing. And she was a ballet dancer. And every stereotype coming into your mind, it was 100% correct. She was gorgeous. And what was weird is I went out, I'm like, sorry, dude, I'm totally asking her to dance. I'm not leaving this planet without asking her to dance. So I asked her to dance. She said yes. Wasn't that uncommon. The old Clairmeister had some skills back in the day. We danced. I said, thank you very much. Turned around and walked to my place because you don't ask her twice. You got to play it cool. And as I turned around to sit in my chair, she was standing right in front of me. She had followed me. And I looked at my buddy. He looked at me. I'm like, that doesn't happen. And I said, would you like to join us? And this set forth a dating courtship that lasted about, 3 or 4 months. Now, she was from Russia, and we were talking. She was very intelligent, very educated. And she did not understand the word shit. And if you think about it, if you're a foreigner, you don't use the English language. That is actually quite a confusing word because it's a verb, a noun, an adjective, an adverb, a pronoun, an amateur noun, a semi-pronoun, all these other things that English majors made up to make themselves feel important. So I wrote a book, hand drew it, and I'm an okay artist, I'm nothing great, but it was kind of cute and stupid. And it was Boris. And Boris was a Russian buffalo. But when he came to the United States, he did not know where to go. So it was just this stupid, on construction paper and drawing, I drew pictures of, he would shit in the snow, he would shit in the rain, he would shit in the sunlight, he would shit in pain. He'd shitting, you're shitting me, every type of use of the word shit I put into the book, Boris the Shitting Buffalo. So I had drawn it for her, put it together. Now, I think it was her birthday. And we had dated, and the dating was great at first, and it slowly went down from there. And she would stand me up, then she would cancel. Then there'd just be weird, like, oh, I gotta get home to study. Like, it's Saturday night and it's 8:30 p.m. What the hell? And the old captain knew what was going on. Slowly but surely, it wasn't another guy, although there certainly were other guys. Don't worry about that. She was becoming an Americanized. Right? She had come here from Russia. She was essentially a mail-order bride to a sergeant or a lieutenant somewhere in the military. And he just beat the ever-living shit out of her. Although now you look back in hindsight, is that true? You don't know. And she just wanted a nice guy to meet up. And Lord knows if I was like a green card target. Like, oh, this would be a nice guy. Anyway, whatever. Her front game was horrible enough. She started to decay. And we had set up a party for her to come over. I was going to give her this book, crappy old cute book. And she called up to cancel on her birthday. And we had several people, like, for a surprise, some of her friends. And I yelled at her over and said, you are going to get your motherfucking ass over here, you ungrateful slime. There are people here. You said you're going to show up, and now you are going to show up. And so I had a pretty nice night. Like, I was going to go to, we were all going to have this party. We're all going to go to this nice restaurant. I called up the restaurant immediately. I say, we're canceling. I say, when she gets here, we're all going to have our cake. We're going to have our fun. And then we're going to leave. And then we're going to leave. And we're not even going to invite her out to anything. And she can go to her damn party. So she showed up, and I remember I put the original transcript, the original Boris the Shitting Buffalo. It's out there somewhere. I don't know where it is. I decided not to give it to her because she wasn't worth it. I think I might have left it in my old house. Whoever bought my house back then might have the original copy of Boris the Shitting Buffalo. And so I just left it there. Everyone said happy birthday. We had our cake, and she's like, "Does anyone do anything?" I'm like, nope. She's like, "Well, did you still want to go there?" I'm like, "Nope, cancel the reservations. Bye." And so that's the last I talked to her. The Schadenfreude comes in what happens over slowly the next, even 15 years. Because I would still go to the dance scene. She would be seen at the dance scene. And you saw, not only did her quality of womanhood go down like this, and she became Americanized in her, what would you say, politeness, etiquette, drop like this. So did her looks. And I did not know, like, and it wasn't even that she got fat. She got a little heavier, but certainly had a figure. But she just did not age well. And I don't know if it was the partying or the booze or the what, but you'd see her out, and as she was declining, the dancing also declined. And so what was once a hot scene was now the leftovers for Christian single men in their 50s who still live with mom in their basement. It's even worse now. It's decayed further because now it's the domain of social justice warriors. So you'd go to this dying, decaying, if not fully dead and now deteriorating dance scene, and she'd still be there. And she was dancing with really old, ugly guys. And she was the coup d'etat. She was the creme de la creme. She was other various French phrases that I have no meaning whatsoever what they mean, but they sound good at this point in time. I mean, every guy was like, "Holy shit, Clary, how the fuck did you get her?" What? And yeah, it's from Russia. What did she do? She was a ballet dancer. No, like, yeah. I mean, it was that, but it was blammo. It's like that Australian model that was really hot in the 90s, and now she's just this land whale. Maybe not that bad, but it was a decay. And it was just nice to see what was once this nice girl. The old captain maybe thought there was going to be there, but I was pretty jaded by that time. I mean, I still had a little bit of hope for me to make a little gift like that for you. I mean, she got a little piece of the old captain's heart. But then, just when we got stood up, all of us, for her birthday, that was it. The old captain had enough. And just to see her go down that path, and this has happened to many other women. I was going to tell a story about a feminist I knew who became a Wiccan priestess and all this other shit and raised organic chickens, and her house got foreclosed upon and all that other stuff. But you come to this country, you meet nice guys, and then you stand them up because you want to go and become an American party girl. It was great to see the consequences of the American party girl lifestyle. And it hasn't been more than 2 years since I saw her the last time. And when I look, it's just like, you could see in her face, like, she's like, shit. Like, he was a good guy. And like, bye, see ya. I got other stuff to do. So that's one. The second story of Schadenfreude. The first school I taught at college in economics was this fly-by-night, Pell-Grant sponge, unaccredited piece of shit school. I did not know about this world. I knew there was like these kind of questionable schools, like if you saw them on daytime TV, and they're like, what's that? What's this academy? What's that academy? And I knew someone, but I never thought of it. I could be like, well, okay, that's not for me. I'm not going to go into that world. I'm going to go to a real school, get what I thought at the time was a real degree, and not do much better. So I went in and I taught economics. And this is the one, if you look at it, look up Capitalism Degree Mills. I tell the story there in much more detail. But in short, this was just a scam school that was stealing these kids' money. And this is in the early 2000s, and they were charging these kids $37,000 a year for a worthless diploma. It wasn't even a degree. It was a 2-year diploma, sometimes 18 months. And I had to deal with so much shit from management because I made the mistake of teaching a good and honest and fair economics class. I would grade you fairly. I wouldn't give anyone extra credit. I treated them like an adult. So I didn't realize at the time that this school was for the rejects. For the people who barely passed high school. They would never reject anybody. There was no SAT scores because they just wanted the freaking money. So this is the one where There was the travel and hospitality majors, and then there was the computer science major, not computer science, but computer programming or IT majors. Obviously, the IT majors and the accounting majors did way better than the travel and hospitality sows. And so when they found out that these two other majors, classes went through by majors, not random kids showing up. The travel and hospitality majors, being predominantly fat, bloated women, girls, were just drama queens. How dare you? We demand. They always demanded. We demand. So they weren't smart enough to catch up to the IT or the accounting majors. They were too dumb and too lazy. So I had to slow down everybody else. So we played Halo. This is for statistics class. I'm sorry, not economics. We played Halo on LAN systems, recording a ton of statistics, I think for almost 3 weeks, while the fat, bloated sows finally caught up with the superior people. And then we had at least some data that we could then do some scientific and statistical experiments with. So we did correlation coefficients between like kill-taculars versus weapons used and all these other variables. I mean, it was good statistical work and practice. But that's how bad things were. This is also the place where out of 92 students, 89 of my students plagiarized. They went to the World Economic Factbook at the CIA and just copy and pasted. I had them write papers, reports on different countries, the economy of different countries. And you could tell that they just copied and pasted. Their writing is not as good as a CIA analyst. And so when I found out this, flunked them all. They were supposed to get kicked out, but that's because Aaron was foolish and didn't realize what the nature of this school was. And I was forced to apologize to the class for making it too difficult for them. These are also the kids that complain because I have this slight cough. I kind of, or like that. It's because I had a massive allergic reaction back when I was 3. And I've always had it ever since. They're complaining about, that's how pathetic these kids were. They're complaining about, oh, he's got this cough, he makes this noise. It's like, wow, like you're actually picking on someone for a handicap. Okay, so these are degenerate scum kids. These are degenerate. This is also, I went and taught at another school, kind of the same rank, where one of the kids got drunk and then punched me during an economic experience. So we are talking the bottom of the barrel. So at first I was pissed off when I found out like, oh, that these kids are like getting their degrees and they're getting passed. The guy that punched me was actually kicked out but then reaccepted back into the school, and that really pissed me off. But then you gotta let life do its work, man. You gotta let it work its magic. All that did was send these kids back to a school that was charging them $30, $35, $40, by the time it was like $45,000 for 1 year at these unaccredited, unemployable, worthless piece of shit Pell Grant sponge schools. And all that happened was these scumbag kids, these genuinely inferior pieces of shit, all they did was go into like $60,000, $70,000 worth of debt. And they couldn't find jobs. And once again, the magic of Facebook happens. Now, there were some good students, obviously, and they say, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? No, whatever happened. So through the grapevine, but especially through Facebook or just the Google, you look these people up, and their lives are horrible. And this is 15 years ago. Some of them have been in jail. Some of them are in prison. Criminal records, DUIs, obviously pregnant and not married, illegitimate kids, rat bastard children. Some were already single moms when they came in. Some already had children. Just to see that these know-it-alls, again, the fartificial, instead of artificial, it's truly the fartificial environment, that school, whether it's K through 12, college, accredited or not, this fartificial environment that they pamper these little precious snowflakes in to believe that they can achieve everything and they're entitled to A's while stabbing them in the back and ruining their financial lives for at least 2 decades. That was the ultimate. That's one of the best bits of Schadenfreude, where you could just say, hey, yeah, so-and-so, oh, I don't know, last I heard he didn't meet his parole officer, he's back in jail. Like, okay. So that was another bit of show. And then the all-time best, I think a lot of you could guess this, what has happened to almost every one of my previous bosses in banking. And that is, they all employed, motherfuckers! Ain't none of them got jobs. Now, one is dead. That is unfortunate because that guy deserved to live in poverty for the rest of his life. But ain't none of my former bosses, except for like one of them, I think, maybe two if you go up higher ranked, they all either got laid off and wiped out in the Great Recession. They had to go and work as realtors. I know another guy, I can't say exactly what he does, but let's just say he works in the nonprofits, and he's a fucking scam artist. And I looked into one of his recent... And guys, hey, all banker guys, I do keep tabs on you. I do. I not because I'm going to hunt you down or anything, don't worry about it. I just need entertainment to see your lives and the vindication I was right. You guys are still wrong. But this one guy tried to start this entity and it failed miserably, and it's just hilarious watching these. Now these are truly evil people. These lazy scumbags who caused the financial crisis, albeit they weren't Goldman Sachs, but they threw a bunch of snow onto the overhang that caused the avalanche. To see them just, I mean, they're not making it. They understand why people go into banking is because they're too lazy to go into engineering. It's true. They don't want to study engineering. None of them have a passion about economics or finance. That's rare. But they're not making money. They all got fired or the bank closed. I think probably the best, let me consult my notes. Yeah, probably the best, like the ultimate form of Schadenfreude was when I was working at one bank at this particular branch, and I wrote in a report, among many other things, like the strategic, this is when I was somewhat more higher ranked, I said, close this branch down, get rid of bad clients, clean up our portfolio. Shit a sixth grader could figure out logically. Clean up our bad loans, go on off, and stop dealing with babysitting. We were basically a babysitting operation is what we were. And I said, close this branch down. That's what I am. And you don't run this company, rah, rah, rah. Then why'd you ask? Why'd you ask? You don't run this company, da, 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 da. Well, I find out, what was it, 3 or 4 years later, they closed that branch down. None of my bosses are there anymore. No, everybody lost their jobs. Some innocent people who didn't deserve it, by the way. You feel bad for, like, tellers. You know, they're not in charge of non-management. You know, you feel bad for them. But just this ultimate I told you so. And not only that, but man, the feds were up every bank's ass. Right at following the housing crisis. But man, the feds were so far up this bank's ass. And if you have the feds telling you what to do, because you are so bad at private sectoring that you need a government to tell you what to do, you suck. You suck. And yeah, that was probably the best. So watching these old farts who made my life hell because I would not approve bad loans. You can read this book, Behind the Housing Crash. Everybody's got assignment today. You can read Boris the Shitting Buffalo, and you can read Behind the Housing Crash. You can see the fucking hell I went through dealing with these psychopaths and these arrogant fucking inferiors. And now to see these people who caused probably the worst damage to the U.S. economy since what? The Volcker Recession, the Great Recession, Great Depression, ruining people's lives. Not to mention causing me an inordinate amount of stress and pain because I was between a rock and a hard place. It is good to see them dead, unemployed, flailing, floundering, not living the dream that they wanted to, coming nowhere near to being as rich as they hoped to be when they were in banking, or otherwise just gone, poof. You're not in banking ever again. You now get your crappy retirement that you inadequately saved for. Because even though you worked at a bank, you don't know how to finance too well. Fuck, most of you didn't know how to add or subtract. So that was great to see. That was probably the best. And the fact I predicted it before it happened was so awesome. So awesome. It's like, there's Schadenfreude, but then there's I told you so that you get like, when you warn these people beforehand, that's the best. That's the best. So that's it. That's the 3 best cases of Schadenfreude that I've enjoyed in my life. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I was going to talk like Hillary Clinton, like there's a perfect example, but I want to be a little bit more personal. But yeah, I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, famous people. You can look at them and see like how their lives are just just miserable. But that's how, those are 3 personal stories from old Captain's life. You guys got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. I will entertain you and dance like a monkey like Alice Wannabe. No, wait, not dance like a money. Oh no, she said that in the other email. $30 sent, now dance for my entertainment. If you want me to dance for your entertainment, I shall. And to piss off this guy that found out I had a Patreon account, and he's pissed off that I have a Patreon account because he thinks it's begging. It's not. People have been asking for this. I'm like, okay, here it is. You can go to patreon.com/Aaron Clarey, donate, and the more donate, you can look it up. You can see how many people donate. I'm up to $4 a month now. Big money. But every dollar more pisses him off. That's worth it. So, all right, we'll see you guys later. Toodles.